everybody, so I first want to preface this video by saying that I am in no way, shape, or form a doctor, and what I'm about to tell you on how I treated my recurrent UTIs naturally is simply based on my own personal experiences. So, just wanted to put that out there. What I did to help me could potentially help you as well, but again, not a doctor. Okay, so if you're a woman, you are probably familiar with the term urinary tract infection. You've probably had at least one in your lifetime, and if you're as lucky as I am, you've probably had at least like 40. And I'm pretty young, so that's a lot. But they happen, they're normal, they suck. So basically, a urinary tract infection is when bacteria get stuck in your urinary tract. They're most often caused by the E. coli bacteria, which is found in your bowels. And most women get them because of sex. Yeah, doing the dirty.
Hi, this is editing me. I know I say that like sex is the reason for UTIs. It's a reason for a lot of people, but also poor hygiene, sweating, like going to the gym and sitting in leggings, like bacteria just travel. So that's not the only reason. There are other reasons as well. So you just want to keep yourself clean. And I also recommend cotton underwear, just a side note.
And the reason behind that is because your vagina and your butthole are so close together, and it's gonna happen that bacteria from here is gonna go over here, and just that's why the number one rule is to pee before and after sex. Super important. Do it. So I remember when I had my first UTI, it was awful, and it happened right after I did the dirty because I didn't know to pee before or after, so that bacteria just got stuck right up there. I remember it felt like razor blades coming out of me, and I also had blood in my urine. It was absolutely terrible. I was freaked out, thought I was dying, went to the doctor. She told me, oh, this is super common. It's a urinary tract infection. She prescribed me with antibiotics. And in a couple days, I was good. I was on my way. I was like, oh wow, okay, great, I'm cured. Not the case. I would have many more after that. And every time I had one, I would always take antibiotics, specifically Cipro. Cipro was my drug of choice, or the drug of choice by my doctor for curing my UTIs or treating them. No one ever told me I could do this naturally. No one ever told me I didn't need antibiotics. I just thought, oh, UTI, get antibiotics. So last year, I was on vacation, I got a UTI, came back, called my doctor, didn't even go in and see her, said I had a UTI, and she just prescribed me Cipro. Didn't have to go and give a urine sample, she knew the drill, just sent it to me. So I took my Cipro, thinking, okay, yeah, 2 days, I'll be good. But this time, the Cipro did not work. 2 days went by, 3 days went by, 2 weeks went by, and I still had all the symptoms and pains of a UTI. I was so confused as to why I wasn't healed. So I called my doctor, I went in, told her what the story was, and she simply said to me that sometimes they take a long time to kick in. Didn't ask me for a urine sample, sent me on my way. And I just trusted her and thought, oh, okay, things are just taking longer this time. Wrong. I ended up just taking her word for it, and I was in the most excruciating pain ever. I was worse than I was before. I couldn't even sleep at night. The pain was so bad. So I took it upon myself to go to a urologist. So I went to my urologist, and to make sure that nothing was going on internally that was bad, I had to do a cystoscopy as well as an x-ray of my kidneys. Both came back normal, thank God. Cystoscopy was pretty uncomfortable because they shoved a little camera up my hole, and that just was not the most pleasant experience, but everything looked normal. However, I still had an active infection that my doctor told me would go away in a week or two. That didn't. So my urologist then gave me a new prescription of antibiotics because she told me that I was immune to Cipro, and that's why it didn't work. So I took this new round of antibiotics. I don't remember what the name of them were. And then I was cleared. But then I developed a yeast infection because when you take antibiotics, it just destroys your flora. The good bacteria in your gut destroys it, and you can develop another infection. So then I had to be on antibiotics for my yeast infection, and this was probably 2 months of trying to figure out what the fuck was going on in my body. So I finished my antibiotics for my yeast infection, and then I was finally good. I was like, great, I'm great, I have no infections, I'm feeling amazing, I don't want this to ever happen to me again. So my urologist had told me, didn't really go into much detail, but she said, hey, in the future you should consider D-Mannose. She had it on a paper, didn't say much about it. I kind of ignored her because I was like, oh, I'm fine now. I don't need to read much about D-Mannose. I don't care. I'm good. So then I was on another trip. I was in a different country, and I developed another UTI. Another one. another one, and I was in a different country, which made matters even worse. I had no extra antibiotics with me. I couldn't call my doctor and have her send something to me. I could go see a doctor there, but I thought, okay, well, the last time I took antibiotics, it destroyed my gut and I got another infection. I just didn't want to go through this like 2-month battle of treating different infections. So I decided to do some research on D-Mannose because I know my doctor had mentioned it to me before, and if that was a way I could, you know, treat my UTI and prevent future ones, I thought, hey, I'm gonna try it out. So I read up on it. It seemed to work for a lot of people. It's not pushed because apparently there haven't been enough clinical trials, tests on it. But I trusted the girls I found on the internet. I went to the health store and I bought D-Mannose powder, which I'll show you here. I have some D-Mannose powder. I took 1 tablespoon of the D-Mannose and I put it in a cup with a little bit of water, mixed it so it was like a shot because I wanted a really concentrated amount of the D-Mannose. Took it like a shot and then waited 45 minutes later to chug a fuck ton of water because water is like the cure-all. Water flushes everything out. I did that 3 times a day, morning, midday, and night. And at the start, I did feel some bloating and cramping, which was really uncomfortable, and I think I might have overdone it. I think maybe I could have done like it twice a day. That's what I did. Drank tons of water, because basically the D-Mannose is a sugar that attaches itself to the bacteria and then flushes it out of your system. In my mind, I thought that this would work, you know, within a few days, but it ended up not working until like weeks later, so it took probably like 2.5 weeks for this to really be effective for me, but it wasn't the only thing that I did. D-Mannose is amazing, but I also started taking oregano oil, or oil of oregano. I took that in the liquid form. People do capsules as well, but I feel like liquids are way more effective. So I took like a little dropper, I'd put 2 drops under my tongue 3 times a day, drink some water, because oil of oregano is a natural antibacterial. So I did that. Then I also took cranberry pills as well as vitamin C tablets, because heavy doses of vitamin C are always good when clearing an infection as well. So I was basically trying to boost my immune system as well as using the D-Mannose to clear out the infection. And then also another one of my holy grails, probiotics. Probiotics are super important. As someone that has digestive issues, it's just good to take them every day, especially if you're like treating an infection. Just keeping all that bacteria good and balanced is super important. Along with all of these things that I was taking, I also would take a shot of apple cider vinegar by mouth in the morning, like as soon as I woke up. I know people don't like the taste of apple cider vinegar or oil of oregano, but when you have a really bad infection, like I don't care what anything tastes like. If it's gonna work, I just don't care. I'm gonna put it in my body. So I took my shot of apple cider vinegar every single morning because that's also good for everything in there. I also would take baths because my urologist actually recommended this. I would fill a bathtub or even like a bowl if you don't have a bathtub, and I put some baking soda as well as a little tiny drop of apple cider vinegar and mix it together with like warm water and sit in it because it's cleaning all the bacteria that might be all up in my business. Never douche. Sit in the water. And yeah, I did 2 weeks of that and I was UTI free. I had no more symptoms. I felt amazing. I will say that I did take like 1 tablespoon of D-Mannose for a few days after that, just to like, you know, clear things up, and obviously drink all the water too, super important. But that was my routine. And to prevent the UTIs in the future, this is my routine as well. Before I'm going to do the dirty, I will take some D-Mannose and some water, and then after it's all done, I will drink a lot of water, and of course pee before and after. Pee before and after. Just tell yourself pee before and after, super important. And then I also, this is a step for me that not everyone has to do. I personally do it. Some people might think it's like a turn off, but right after I'm done, I go pee, and then I also sit in my bowl of baking soda and apple cider vinegar just to like clean myself. Some people like to shower after, whatever floats your boat. It's just, if there's any bacteria lingering, it's just better to get it off. So this is what I do to help myself, what's worked for me, and I hope it works for you. Sometimes you just need to go to the doctor and you need antibiotics, but in my case, I didn't this time, which I was shocked about because I've always been someone that takes antibiotics, so I was really pleasantly surprised that I was able to do it naturally. It does take a little bit longer, but it totally can work. God, I'm out of breath from talking so much about myself. That's just what worked for me, and if you guys have any questions at all, I would be happy to answer them. Just comment below. I'm here to help. share the wealth. If you know something that can help people, you should totally do it. And if you want to see more videos from me in the future about health, wellness, beauty, you name it, give me a like, a comment, a subscribe. Thank you guys.